and the opening round of the series from Hockenheim. On pole position, Michael Bartels in the Reynard 893, the 1986 German Formula Ford 1600 champion. Second position, Michael Schumacher, also in a Reynard 893. And on third position, Frank Schmickler completes the Reynard hat-trick at the top of the grid. Next up, the BSR of Ellen Law, former BMW team driver. She holds fourth place, ahead of her teammate Frank Kramer. Also BSR mounted, Volkswagen provide the power, and he's in fifth place on the grid. Rounding out the top six, Rolf Kelleners. Variety of machines in the German Formula 3 Championship, Reynard's BSRs, and also a bit further down the grid, Dallara's, Rolt, Martini, and an interesting entry from Russia, the Tark, Estonia, and that qualified in 10th place at the hand of Victor Rosso. All clear, waiting for the start on this super fast circuit. Green flag at the ready, last man off, can't get away, but jumping straight into the lead, Bartels. Schumacher following him through, and Schmickler looking for a way up to third place. Ellen Law drops down to fifth place behind Michael Lopez in the Martini. And up towards the first chicane for the first time, jumping straight into the lead, Bartels. Second place, Schmickler, and in third place, Schumacher. Rest of the field file through as they head down towards the Ost curve. Farthest point of the circuit, and the front three runners have broken away from the rest of the field. Kramer in fourth place, Ellen Law holding fifth. But the race on between the front three and Frank Schmickler up there already. Bartels in second place, Schumacher holding third place. And that's the order as they come down to another one of these chicanes put in just before the Ost curve. Farthest point away from the start-finish line. Bumping over the curb, Frank Schmickler has been able to pull out a couple of lengths lead over Bartels and Schumacher. But as they come down into the Ajip curve and round into Sachs curve, this is the bowl section where all of the crowd can see what's going on. Field closes up once again. Reynard's running 1, 2, 3 and putting pressure on Schmickler. Bartels through the Opel curve at the end of lap 1, across the start-finish line. This track ideally suited to slipstreaming manoeuvres as the cars go down the straights, bump over the curbs there and head into the chicanes. Away from the spectator areas, Frank Kramer holding fourth place, Ellen Law in fifth place. And there's some of those slipstreaming attempts. Diving to the outside, then the inside of the leader, Frank Schmickler. And through goes Michael Bartels into the lead. Schmickler down into second place. Runs out wide. Can Schmickler do anything about it? But on his inside, car number 2, Schumacher, looking for a way through. It's a drag race. Down to the Ost curve. Who's going to get there first? Schmickler found a way past. In second place, Bartels, and in third, Michael Schumacher. That's the order around the Ost curve as they head back down towards Ajip, Sachs curve, and the spectators. Down the straight, pulling to the outside of Schmickler. Number 7, Michael Bartels, looks for on the inside. Already a bit of damage to his front aerofoil. Looks for on the inside. No way past there. Frank Kramer in the BSR in fourth place still, ahead of Ellen Law and Michael Lopez in the Martini. The Dallaras didn't have a very good run in practice, qualified in the bottom half of the field. But it's the 3 British cars leading at the moment, 3 young and determined German drivers. They head down towards chicane number 1, and through on the inside, Michael Bartels. Schmickler relegated to second spot, and holding third place, Michael Schumacher. That's the position he's been in for most of the race. Been up there, but never been able to actually move into the lead. Kramer has pulled away in third place. There's some vigorous flag waving going on. Schmickler pushed out wide, but still holds on to second place. Kramer moving up to join this battle for the lead. And the fastest lap to Bartels, 2:13.35, an average speed of 183 kilometres an hour. And comparing that with Formula One lap times, well, the lap record held by Ayrton Senna, 1:45.88, so 28 seconds over the 4-mile circuit. Pretty staggering difference. Into the bowl section once again. Schmickler has been demoted to third place. Bartels lead, Schumacher second. Schmickler in third place. Kramer closing in fourth place. Schmickler, third place driver, 24-year-old panel beater. Been racing in Formula 3 since 1986. And this looks like one of his best years. Bartels, prodigy. His father was a European hill climb champion back in 71 and 76. Came into the sport and won the Formula Ford Championship in 86. We rejoin the race with 3 laps to go. Order still the same. Bartels, Schumacher, Frank Schmickler, and still closing in, Frank Kramer in fourth place. Alan Law still holding on in fifth. The order hasn't changed, but the constant battling has seen the front 2 drivers, Bartels and Schumacher, pull out a slight lead over the third place man, Schmickler. And closing right up, Schumacher. Bartels started from pole, and he's recorded the fastest lap so far, holding second place though. And this is the opportunity to see the cars weaving from side to side and the long straights. Before the introduction of the chicanes, was one of the fastest circuits in Europe and is still pretty quick. This is one of the severest corners. Cars bouncing around on the rumble strips. Bartels, Schumacher, Schmickler, Frank Kramer. As they come up to Ajip curve, Michael Schumacher looking for a way through. Bartels still leads. Schmickler holding third place. Drops back a little bit there, Schumacher. End of this lap, there'll be 2 laps to complete the opening round of the German Formula 3 Championship. Out of the oval curve, onto the start-finish line straight. German Formula 3 series, considered to be nearly as competitive as the British Championship. Not as many rounds held, different variety of machinery, but the training ground for Germany's future top drivers. Many of these drivers, Michael Bartels, Alan Law, Frank Schmickler, all drove for the BMW saloon car teams last year, but with their demise, concentrated their efforts on Formula 3. Coming up to the first chicane, and using the tighter of the 2 available there. Still Bartels leading. Schumacher looking for a way past now in second place, really close, right up on the gearbox. Cars weaving around. Schmickler in third place. Kramer holding on safely and evasive action by the flag marshals. And heading towards the grass, and with a bent front spoiler, Michael Schumacher. That's the end of him competitively for the race. Only 2 laps to go, and he's been quickly caught by Frank Kramer, who moves up into third place. So the race on between the lead 2, Bartels and Schmickler. And this continuous weaving from side to side continues. Into the second chicane, bumping over the curbs, throwing the cars around. So they head down a long straight towards the Ajip curve and onto their last lap. Moved up into third place now, Frank Kramer. Still charging on, Michael Schumacher. Alan Law some way back behind him. Perhaps she'll be able to catch him up before the end of the race. In through the bowl, do-or-die effort now for these drivers. Points for the opening round of the German Formula 3 Championship. Round the oval curve, across the start-finish line, and perhaps Kramer thinks he can become part of the action too, a challenge for a spot at the lead. Bartels has been able to pull away 5 or so car lengths from Schmickler. Could be a crucial break at this stage of the race. Cars bump over the curbs, then head out into the countryside. Last lap. Cars going from side to side to try and break the toe. Still holding on in 4th place, Michael Schumacher. Alan Law in 5th. He's got a couple of miles to catch up with him into the first of the chicanes. Running out wide, Bartels. Schmickler closing up on him. The smoothest racing line not being taken. It's the most offensive line possible is the one that's being used. Closing right up on the leader, Bartels. Schmickler, as they go round the Ost curve. Kremer still in 3rd place. So the last couple of bends for this competitive opening round of the German Formula 3 Championship. Cars from side to side and a bit of rallycross tactics. Onto the grass. 2nd place man Schmickler. And then Bartels goes onto the grass. Blue flags being waved vigorously. Pretty close. A touch. Car launched off. Schmickler keeps the car going. Slews across the track, Bartels. Kremer just avoids the trouble there. That's the end of the race for Michael Bartels. Wiping his visor there, the new leader, Frank Kremer. Don't think he can believe his luck. Bartels kept the car running and he's regained his position on the track, but some way down the order. So heading towards a win, Frank Kremer in the BSR. In 2nd place, the still damaged car of Michael Schumacher, been circulating, but he's got Alan Law right on his tail. To go round the Opal curve, Alan Law gets up into 2nd place. So it could be a BSR double. There's Schmickler in 4th place. Michael Ropes in 5th place. But across the line to win, Frank Kremer already there. Alan Law about to take 2nd place. In 3rd place, Michael Schumacher, and in 4th place, Frank Schmickler. Well, a sensational end to the race there. Last chicane on the last lap. We have a look at what happened. Schmickler leading, Bartels behind him. Both slide the cars through. Slight tap there on the nose from the rear wheel of Schmickler. And this continues as they come through the tight part of the corner. Spinning around Frank Schmickler and heading towards the gravel trap and the crash fence, Michael Bartels. Can't stop. Car launched off there. Digs out a divot of earth, crashes into the barrier and slews across the track. Frank Kremer took a deep breath, just avoided the car spinning across in front of him and headed off towards the first win for the BSR mark. 2nd place also went to the BSR of Alan Law. Now final look at it. And we see Kremer coming down the track. Has to apply the brakes pretty heavily as the Renard of Bartels slams into the barrier in front of him. And look at those results. Kremer, a win by 8 seconds from Alan Law. Schumacher in 3rd place. Schmickler got the car running for 4th. Ropes finished 5th. And Ralph Kelleners in 6th place.